Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm standing out here beside my Dodge here with the Cummins in it, sitting here running. Got the headlights on. These are the headlights I was talking about in the previous video about putting the LEDs in. It's a cool looking headlight. These were made by Spyder, I think, best I remember. They had the LEDs around them and the accents on the bottom. You just can't see anything with them. As you can see there, how dim that is. That's not but about 50 foot to that fence out there, and you can't hardly even see that. I mean, they're terrible. The fog lights are better. Let me turn the fog lights on for you, you see the difference. Alright, that's with the fog lights on. You see how much difference that made. Fog lights on, fog lights off. On, off. So what we want to do is we want to swap these out for the LED bulbs that I bought for the tractor that didn't fit, the H1. That's the high beams. The high beams are pretty decent, but the low beams not so much. So we're going to put those LEDs in the low beam side here, and hopefully that'll make a huge difference with this truck here. And I'll have plenty of light on the tractor anyway, just using those halogens right there on the hood, and then all the other LEDs I'm mounting on it, and then the headlights are LEDs anyways. So this here needs to be addressed more so than that probably anyway. So probably kind of a good thing they don't actually fit the tractor. So anyway, let's get this into the shop, and let's get it swapped out, and I'll pull it back out here in the same spot, and we'll do a before and after comparison and see what it looks like. Alright guys, I got the headlight out. It's just one bolt here. You got to come in from the fender well here. Pull a little plug, got a little rubber plug, come through here with a extension 10mm, pull it out, and then you have two bolts here, or at least you're supposed to have. This one only has one because I've lost the other one at some point putting these in, but I'm not sure that these are going to fit these very easily either. You get a little rubber dust cap here that definitely won't be able to be used. And then you have a blue power wire there going to it. And then the ground is going to something else there, it looks like. But we're going to pull this out, take a look-see. That is not much of a light bulb, if you ask me. But it is a H1 12 volt, 55 watt. And so that's what the LEDs are supposed to replace, but I'm not sure how that's going to work with the way the other ones are like they're wired. So let me grab them and see if it'll fit down in here and what it looks like. Alright, just by looking at comparison, it looks like it's about the same depth wise by looking at that. And this one has a hot in the ground on the wire with a plastic base, so we'll probably have to splice this ground into this other ground. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that ground probably grounds the that LED ring in there as well on this, because that is a aluminum little housing, looks like. I'm not sure on that, but I'll just splice it in there some way. If not, whatever I got to do to make it work here. Let me see how this thing's supposed to turn, because I'm not sure. Let's see. Kind of looks like maybe something like that, but I don't know. I'm not going to be able to do this in one hand, I see that. So let me set this camera down and see if I can get it stuck in there, and I'll get back with you. Alright guys, I got the bulb in there. It was a little bit tricky to get that wire clip back down in there. Around, I had to use a screwdriver and take and kind of push it down and bend it over like so. And this ground wire here, as you can see, is going to the housing in there that looks like it's aluminum, which worked fine because this bulb here, it's steel, so it made contact and allowed it to work. That ground wire also illuminates that halo LED ring around there, so I can't just unplug it and plug it up. So what I'm doing is I spliced the insulation right here, and I made a little wire right here like this, a little jumper wire, crimp the end on it, and I'm going to solder that right there. As soon as my soldering iron heats up, I'm going to put some solder on this, tape it up, and then it will plug right there into that bulb and make it work. And as I say, we cannot put this dust cap back on there because it has a cooling fan in the back of it. And you can rotate this supposedly in the housing to make a better beam pattern. At least I think you can. Okay, maybe not. The other one you could. The H4 bulb I have over there, you can. I'll read up on that and check that out in a second. Alright guys, you cannot rotate that like I thought, like the other ones. They have a little locking tab right here on the plastic part. I don't know if you can see up under there. There's a little nipple thing that sticks down in there and locks it to keep it from rotating. So I guess you put it in there and hope for the best. I did not read the instructions. It might tell you could do something different, but anyway, just from what I see, it does have a little locking tab there. The H4s I put in, you could rotate them a little bit, but anyway. So I'm still waiting on the soldering iron to get hot, and I'm just going to solder this up, put some tape on it, put this light back in. We'll stick this one in the other side, and we will go try it out. All right, guys, I'm waiting on the soldering iron to heat up again to do this side because I had unplugged it. Not good to let them sit there in on position, being on. Anyway, this spring here, the spring clip, is a bear to get on there. Do you see how it hits the cooling fins there on the LED bulb? You kind of have to bend it out away from it and then get it to lock in the notch down there. That's a little bit of a pain. But anyway, got that done. Hooked the hot up. I put some tape on the hot so that it wouldn't touch anything. And then I'm just waiting on the soldering iron. I'll solder this, plug this to that, wrap a little tape on it. And as I say, just leave that boot off. I'm just going to let it hang in there like so. I think it'll be okay. Alright guys, here we are in the same spot, and you can see what they look like. I'm going to turn the fog lights on like I did before. Fog lights on, fog lights off. And I'm going to hit the high beams right there. That's the high beams. So they look like they shine pretty decent. The one problem is I didn't think about is when I crank the truck up, they go out. There's supposed to be like a diode thing. On these Dodges, you have to buy extra, so I have to order that off of Amazon, I suppose, and plug in there so that when the truck's running, these Dodges do like a bulb self-test, and so that they won't cut out. I'll show you what happens when I crank it up. Well, I can't get in the, can't reach through the window. See, they flicker and go out. So that's not going to work. Alright guys, let me show you what I got going on here. I do not recommend you do this way. They make the appropriate thing to do it. This is the same day and everything, a few hours later. I got to thinking about it. I had some resistors that I bought right here for another project several years ago. And they are 100 watt 10 ohm resistors. So what I'm doing is I've spliced in another little pigtail here off of the hot wire. This blue wire is a hot wire coming off these spyder headlights. You know how the harness is done there. It comes off your factory. So the blue goes over here. So spliced it off, got it going to the bulb there. And then I've got another one on the ground side there. And so it's going to go to the bulb here. And I need to tighten that terminal up a little bit with some pliers. And then the other one here is going to go to the resistor right there. So you have a resistor between your hot and ground. And this resistor should be mounted to like aluminum heat sink or something. It's a plastic headlight, so I really don't know what I can do with that unless I figure out how to mount it to that metal right there. Put some dielectric grease on it or something to help dissipate the heat, but it may be okay. just hanging out there in the air. So we're going to check that out, but that's what I'm doing. I'm going to tape that up right here where I spliced into it and soldered it, and then get this hooked up here, and we're going to try it out. And I think this is going to eliminate my problem. They make like a harness to do this with. This is a rat's nest. Here's what this is. But I originally bought these lights here for my tractor, not for this truck. And come to find out, they don't fit my tractor in the lights that I want them to fit. So I knew that I had H1 bulbs in here, so we're putting them in here so that I can see better. And like I say, I already had these resistors. I bought these resistors probably 3 or 4 years ago, whenever I swapped over the 4th gen seats in this truck and was going to try to make the heat on them work on a lower setting, and I never did that. So the heat only works on a high setting, you know, it's hooked straight to 12 volts. Never really did anything with the resistors. Happened to think about it and thought they would work for this. They're 100 watt, 10 ohm again. So let me tape this up, we'll get this hooked up, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, you see I got this done. This is the hot, this is ground. Resistor is between the hot and the ground, so it is acting as a halogen light bulb. So it's going to fool the truck and make it think it's got a halogen bulb in it, and then the LED is just tapped off of that, the ground and the hot going to LED, so the LED works. And I don't have anywhere to mount that, so I'm just going to let it hang out and hope for the best. These things do get really hot, just like as if it was a you know, halogen light bulb. I think they get up, you know, this thing will probably get 300 plus degrees, but it's not going to be mounted to plastic or anything. It's just going to hang out in there, and when you're driving down the road, there should be some airflow going across it, so it should be fine. I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna go ahead and stick the headlights back up in there, and we'll give her a try. Alright guys, as you see, we're back in the same spot outside, and they are on and working, and they are brighter than the other ones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little test drive down the road, and probably about 30 minutes, haul the garbage off and see how they do. And if they go out, I'll just have high beams, I suppose, on the way back. So hopefully they won't. But I'm going to go try them out, and I'll let you know when I get back. Alright guys, I thought I'd get a shot of it going down the road with these LEDs. That's what it looks like. Back in the same spot again, here looking at the scrap pile. So what do I think about them and how are they working? Well, I made it back from hauling off the garbage, and as you can see, they're working. I hope you can hear me over the truck running. Let me back up a little bit. But anyway, I can see a little bit better with them. They're a decent improvement over the halogen bulbs. I think they would be a lot better in the factory Dodge OEM headlights that takes the H4 bulbs. We'll probably have a better result. These spyder headlights, they look real cool and everything with the LED halo around them. I'm not even sure if the camera's picking that up because the headlights are right there, but anyway, they look real cool and all, but I've never been able to see as well with those as I could the factory OEM lights that was in there. But I replaced them because one of them got busted and they were getting faded and foggy anyways, so bought those there, thought they would be an upgrade, but instead they were kind of a downgrade, I suppose, in terms of lighting that you could actually see with. I do like the looks of them though. But anyway, so the LED conversion, I do think it's a worthwhile upgrade for the money. I don't know, I think I paid $35 for those bulbs or something, and I already had the resistors. You can get better bulbs for that, especially if you have the stock Dodge housings. You can get some bulbs. It's like $70 or $80. It comes with the resistor already built into it. The plug and play deal. Stick it in there, hook it up. You don't have to do any of that mess that I did. And so that's what I would recommend to someone But if you have the spyder headlights like I do, because you bought them, thought they would look cool, now you can't see, well, I guess this is a worthwhile upgrade. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.